Oh, Lolly. I'll let this go. Oh, she went Ice Punch. Interesting. We'll go for a Peekaboo play. Nice. I think I caught the drill one. They're Weezing has 4. Yeah, it's gonna be super weird though. Oh. Really? It's gonna be super close. Ah, she went for the Peekaboo herself. Should have expected it. Well played, well played. Double Peekaboo. You don't see that very often. Hey everyone, we are back from New York Go Fest, and unfortunately I didn't get a lot of time to play this league of rotations for Fantasy Cup in particular, but it definitely was one of my favorites back in the day. And now that Shadow Alolan Sandslash has access to Drill Run, it's looking like the league is a lot different than the last time around. I decided to invest in the Shadow Alolan Sandslash on my end, and I decided to run Shadow Alolan Sandslash with Tapu Fini and Giratina Origin. Giratina Origin being one of the strongest safe swaps in Pokemon just in general for this meta, having a lot of play against so many Pokemon, including the fairies. So I want to see how it went. And of course, this is going to be a very expensive investment, especially for Ultra League. It's going to cost a lot of XL candies for the Shadow variant, but also a ton of Stardust. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. I actually recorded myself powering up this Shadow Alolan Sandslash. You can see it was my first time actually deciding to use it in Ultra League, and I think it paid off. You could also run the non-Shadow variant. There's pros and cons for sure. I think in Ultra League you definitely get away with the non-Shadow variant, whereas Great League you definitely want the Shadow variant. That being said, terrible lead. However, Drill Run does do a decent amount of damage to Lucario, so there's some play. And again, Giratina Origin being one of the strongest safe swaps, able to grab a shield against a Celix to force him to shield and give me a decent spot to farm. Was a little worried that it might be an Earthquake, so I shield the first move. I'm going to let the second one go through. Obviously, if this Earthquake, I'll probably just lose anyway. Now I farmed up to quite a bit of energy, and we have back-to-back Drill Run. We're going to throw one and then swap. I don't want to take too much damage. And then here comes their Giratina Altered. And this is fantastic for me because unless they're running Shadow Force, which it seems like they're not, there's really not much it can do to take out the Tapu Fini very easily. And I can just spam away with my moves. And so something I realized is that I really don't want to give this Lucario too much energy. So I decided to not throw my energy at all. And I want to finish off this Giratina with my Alolan Sandslash instead. So I purposely don't do anything because I don't want them to farm. Especially resist counters is going to give this Lucario a ton of energy. I get the Drill Run off, does one shot. I don't know if the non-Shadow does or doesn't. So maybe another reason to run the Shadow variant. Alright, Giratina Altered, fantastic lead, and yeah, they obviously don't have Shadow Force, so again, really able to play around this matchup very easily. They tried to catch, I guess, an Ice Punch, but wasn't able to do it, so I'm able to get the Drill Run off. I'm just going to throw back-to-back. I probably could have overfarmed there a little bit, but I honestly expected them to shield, and they didn't, so that's fine with me. I'm in a pretty commanding position. I mean, look at Shadow Alolan Sandslash go. I'm pretty much taking out almost 2 Pokemon by itself. And the pairing of Giratina Origin with Tapu Fini in the back could usually pretty much cover everything. Well, it looks like Check is out of here. I'll let her go. Or maybe she's going to hang around by my mic. I don't know. Check, your tail's right in front of my face. Alright, and then ends up being a Clefable, which is a little bit of a weirder matchup. I think I decide to just let this go. I just want to chip down this Clefable as much as possible because with Fairy Wind, it is quite strong, but without that fast swing pressure, it's not going to be nearly as strong into Giratina. So I'm gonna let this first move go in case they're going for the bait. They don't, but they get the attack drop, but again, they can't really Fairy Wind down. It's essentially a Mudshot clone for fairy damage, and Mudshot, you know, doesn't do that much damage even when super effective. Alright, Shadow Scizor is definitely not the easiest matchup for me. However, they had the shield drill run, or respected. Let me go straight forward. They shield, I come in Giratina Origin. Again, not a great matchup for Giratina Origin, but so strong in this matchup in general. And then I'm going to overfarm a little bit and throw before they get to another Night Slash, and they're going to let it go. So still getting a decent amount of value, and I'm ahead on energy, which is quite nice. I'm going to throw Ominous Wind baits. If it's a Shadow Ball, they kind of just get KO'd, so it's a pretty solid bait to throw in that situation. We are matched up against this Giratina. I'm going to shield and probably just overfarm a little bit. Oh, they get the boost actually, which is a little unfortunate for me. But ends up not making a difference. And then there is the Haxorus. Most Haxorus in this meta are running Earthquake, probably for additional coverage against Fairy type Pokemon, but it's not enough to one-shot Tapu Fini. And the Moonblast is quite enough to take out the Haxorus, and they pretty much get Water Gun down after that. Yeah, another terrible lead. Counter users, Haxorus is definitely another addition to the meta that we didn't really see much, especially with Breaking Swipe. As you can see, very, very strong, able to debuff and swap out, and it just makes winning Switch in this situation really, really tough. They did come in with a Regiseal, so in some senses, I potentially can win Switchback, but it really depends if you're running Flash King or not. A lot of them are, but a lot of them aren't. So there's that, and it looks like this one's not running Flash Cannon. If they are, going for a debuff for whatever reason, and able to still win Switch, which is just nuts to me. But yeah, so really paying off, and winning Switch is definitely going to be a good spot for me overall. I'm going to throw the Drill Run. It does get shielded, which is fine. I'm just going to throw a straight Drill Run because this Haxorus doesn't have too much play. I'm going to shield one serve. I just want to put this Tapu Fini in Moonblast range, and then I could just shield one Moonblast, and I'll be fine. I get to actually another Drill Run really quick. Shadow Alolan Sandslash is honestly one of the most broken Pokemon in the meta at the moment. Obviously, double weak to fighting, double weak to fire, but if you avoid those matchups, it really get hit back quite a bit. I'm going to no-shield Moonblast. Obviously, it's not enough to KO, and I just don't want to get baited with the Surf and get hit by Earthquake later. So yeah, able to take it out. I mean, even with the Breaking Swipe debuff, Giratina Origin really come in clutch. Alright, this is not a great spot for me to be in. Escavalier is probably the worst out of the counter users for Shadow Alolan Sandslash because the Drill Run's just not enough to one-shot. You don't have Super Effective Ice Punch like you do for Haxorus. You don't have Super Effective Drill Run for the Lucario. So, very, very strong. And this is not a great counter spot, too. I was talking about how strong and safe Giratina Origin is, but yeah, Guzzlord is going to wall off the entire moveset there unless I'm running Dragon Pulse, which I'm not. Dragon Pulse just doesn't make too much sense in this meta. It would help in that matchup, but yeah, so they're getting a ton of value in this situation. I'm just going for the full Shadow Claw down with swap out because I don't even think I would live one counter, so I'll save the energy for later. I'm going to let this go in case it's an Acid Spray. Ends up being a Drill Run, and then they come in with the Glaring Weezing. And I was like, well, this looks like it's a pretty brutal swing. They end up running Sludge, so quite the spice from my opponent. At this point, there's really just nothing I can do. Even if I shield the Sludge in the Drill Run, I don't think I could win this game. But yeah, that definitely didn't help. So well played by my opponent, and what a weird team. Yeah, something to watch out for that. I did see quite a bit of Sludge, Glaring Weezing. Alright, against opposing Shadow Alolan Sandslash and just Alolan Sandslash in general, I actually go for the catch on Drill Run. Almost every Shadow Alolan Sandslash user or just Alolan Sandslash user will throw a Drill Run. I've only faced maybe one that didn't throw right away, but I know that mine's like decently high rank, so my odds of winning CMP are pretty low, and also the bait game there is just super uncomfortable, so I'm just not a fan of it. My opponent double shields though, so I'm getting a decent amount of value. Obviously, I don't have switch advantage, but again, Giratina Origin is one of the strongest Pokemon, pretty safe with the shield advantage, and Alolan Sandslash is typically one of the hardest counters to it. So getting that out of the way allows my Giratina Origin to be pretty good. Unless they have like a Guzzlord or a B-Sharp in the back, I should be in a pretty good spot, right? And so, actually B-Sharp, because that Dark typing is actually going to make it quite problematic. But again, shield advantage, makes me allows me to be in a really commanding position into that Glaring Weezing in the back end. And then now Drill Punch is not enough damage. His Shadow Ball does quite a bit to that Escavalier. Yeah, just gonna finish off with the Alolan Sandslash. Alright, I think this is the last battle I have for you all. Again, I do a ton of battles, but yeah, my opponent is going to come in with the Berserker. Most trainers are not going to shield in that situation for whatever reason. And I am going to get the Water Gun now, which is quite nice. Yeah, and then we get to Moonblast as well. I mean, obviously, this is probably one of the better times for me to bait. I end up not baiting. But even if I bait, they just throw a little bit sooner. So unless I want to spend my own shields, I don't want to get too much value. Yeah, see, I don't even get the Surf Off, actually. So it wouldn't have really mattered even if I baited. They still could have gone straight Ominous Wind. All right, good bait by them to go Ominous Wind. I decided to just double shield at this point. I'm thinking, all right, this has got to be a Shadow Ball at this point. And we CMP, which I don't hate because I can take out the Giratina. And I'm trying to figure out what's in the back. It's going to be an Excadrill. I catch the Drill Run because I knew they're going to win CMP, and I don't have a shield. But the problem is, Excadrill typically wins CMP against most things in this meta. And even though I left with a move, they still have a shield. So they just double up on Drill Run, take me out. I'm in a bad spot. And that's exactly what happens. And so really well played by my opponent, despite them not really having the matchup they want. But yeah, that's going to be it for those battles. And again, I think the Alolan Sandslash really paid off as an investment. It has a lot of play in Open Ultra League and some other limited metas in Ultra League. So if you're waiting to bite the bullet, I think it is still a good time. Even if you can't use it much for this meta alone, I think it's going to be really, really solid. And I seriously doubt they're going to nerf Alolan Sandslash or Alolan Sandslash in general anytime soon because they just buffed it. But who knows? Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'm finally back from my travels for a little bit, so I got some really cool content coming for you all very soon. Hopefully I'll drop some later this week, but stay tuned for that. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.